The following podcast may not be for all listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome back to the Unexplained Realms. In this episode, we are going to drag some very dark history out of the shadows into the light. This story is not for the faint of heart. If you're squeamish or just looking for a ghost story, this might be your cue to turn away, because we are descending into one of the darkest chapters of human history. We are going to explore the true tale of the Bitch of Buchenwald, a name whispered with horror even by the monsters who worked beside her. So turn down the lights, settle in, and hold on to your skin. Ilse Koch was born on September 22nd, 1906, in Dresden, Germany. She grew up in the shadows of Dresden's factories, in a Protestant family that never had much to spare. She was the daughter of a foreman and a housewife. People remembered her as a cheerful and well-mannered child. At 15, she left school behind and enrolled in a trade program, hoping secretarial work would offer a way out of poverty. She picked up bookkeeping skills, landed jobs in firms around Dresden, and tried to carve out a future for herself. But post-World War I Germany was unraveling. The streets outside were heavy with resentment, the air thick with uncertainty. Chaos was everywhere. And it was in this chaos that the Nazi Party founded its foothold. In 1932, Ilse turned 25 and made a choice that would set her apart. She joined the Nazi Party. She wasn't just another name on a roster. She was an eager believer who soaked up the party's racist and anti-Semitic creed. Drawn in by talk of a reborn Germany, in a time when most women kept their distance from politics, Ilse dove in head first, marking herself as different and dangerous. It was through the Nazi Party in Dresden that Ilse crossed paths with Karl Koch, an officer nearly a decade older than she was. By 1936, they were married, and she would live with him at a concentration camp, working as his secretary and absorbing terror up close. In 1937, Ilse's life twisted into darkness when she moved to the newly opened Buchenwald concentration camp. Here, her husband took command. It was inside those barbed wire fences that her name became synonymous with cruelty, and her reputation for sadism would be sealed. The couple lived in shocking luxury on the campgrounds, their villa a world apart from the misery outside its doors. Ilse demanded that the prisoners address her as a gracious lady. But her cruelty was notorious, and the name she earned was whispered behind her back. The Bitch of Buchenwald. Gracious was the last thing anyone called her when they thought she couldn't hear. Ilse wasted no time unleashing terror on Buchenwald's prisoners, almost from the moment she arrived. She prowled the camp on horseback, her riding crop always in hand. She struck out at prisoners without warning or reason, sometimes simply for glancing in her direction. Anyone who met her gaze risked a sharp, merciless blow. Her cruelty became a daily ritual, and the prisoners learned quickly to keep their eyes down. Ilse's cruelty took on a twisted, calculated edge. She would parade through the camp in revealing clothing, baiting prisoners before lashing out at anyone who dared to look at her. At her villa, teenage servants endured even worse. She would walk around naked, and any stolen glance was met with a beating. Her sadism wasn't limited to her own hands. She often encouraged her husband and his officers to torture and kill prisoners, as if brutality was a form of amusement. In 1940, Ilse ordered the construction of a sprawling indoor riding arena, an extravagant project that cost more than just money, but human life. Prisoners were forced to build it, and more than 30 died from sheer exhaustion before the arena was finished. For Ilse, it was another monument to her power. Ilse's brutality had reached a horrifying new level by 1941. She began selecting prisoners with unusual or elaborate tattoos, ordered them killed, and stripped their skin to be preserved to craft grotesque household items. The rumors of her collections spread terror through the camp, each tale darker than the last. The skin was fashioned into gruesome artifacts: lampshades, book covers, gloves, and other household objects. Each piece was a chilling reminder of Ilse Koch's sadism, her collection turning human suffering into twisted trophies. The villa nestled inside the campgrounds became notorious for its lavish SS gatherings. Rumors swirled of wild orgies and endless feasts. While prisoners wasted away from hunger, food and alcohol flowed freely in the Koch's villa, an obscene contrast to the deprivation and misery on the other side of the wall. An investigation started when whispers of the Koch's excess finally reached the upper levels of the SS. Their decadent lifestyle was so out of step with wartime Germany, it couldn't be ignored any longer, not even by those who ran the camps. The full extent of Karl and Ilse Koch's corruption at Buchenwald came to light under the scrutiny of the internal SS investigation. Judge Conrad Morgan, appointed by Heinrich Himmler himself to hunt down corruption, turned his attention to the Koch's. What he uncovered was staggering: embezzlement, theft, and an abuse of power that even the SS couldn't stomach. Morgan's investigation revealed that the Koch's had robbed, abused, and murdered prisoners on their own authority for crimes that hadn't been sanctioned. Karl had embezzled over 200,000 Reichsmarks, while Ilse was found to have benefited from at least 25,000 in stolen goods. Their greed was as brazen as their brutality. In August 1943, the SS finally arrested both Karl and Ilse Koch. Karl faced charges of embezzlement and prisoner murder. The SS court found him guilty and sentenced him to death. He was executed by a firing squad at Buchenwald in April 1945, just days before the camp was liberated. Ilse's fate played out very differently. She was acquitted at her 1944 trial. The evidence against her, especially the accusations of making lampshades from human skin, was insufficient. Ilse walked free, but not for long. By June 30, 1945, she was arrested again, this time by American forces in Germany, to face charges of crimes against humanity. On August 14, 1947, a U.S. military court found Ilse Koch guilty of participating in a common design to commit war crimes. She was sentenced to life in prison. While awaiting trial in camp, Ilse became pregnant, a scandal that stunned everyone since she was held in solitary confinement. The father's identity was never confirmed, adding another layer of mystery and notoriety to her already infamous story. She was sentenced to life in prison, though her sentence was later reduced on appeal, sparking outrage from the public. Eventually, public pressure forced a retrial, and she was imprisoned again, this time for good. Ilse Koch died by suicide in 1967, alone in her cell. She left behind a legacy that still chills the blood. Ilse Koch was not a unique individual within the camps, but she was a reminder that evil is rarely abstract. It's very real. Before I fade back into the unexplained realms, there's one more twist to Ilse Koch's strange afterlife in our culture. Her infamy didn't end with her death or the history books. Decades later, the Bitch of Buchenwald resurfaces in the Netflix series Monster, the Ed Gein story. The show explores the life and crimes of Ed Gein. The series draws a chilling parallel between Gein's gruesome acts and the atrocities committed by Ilse Koch. It's an excellent series. Check it out. The story of Ilse is not just about one woman's evil. It's a warning about the horrors that can unfold when hate is given power and when ordinary people become monsters. Until next time, keep your eyes open, because the darkness is always closer than you think.